Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jim Moran, and today we're going to try to figure out what in the world is as far as the eye. No, I did not have a stroke. There's nothing coming after that sentence. Not as far as the eye can see. Simply just as far as the eye. Or a fate, as evident by the capitalized letters on the title. This is a game that is releasing actually tomorrow. I'm recording this on September 9th. There is an embargo, however, so this is going to air on September 10th at 12 p.m. if everything goes to plan and YouTube publishing works. Otherwise, I don't know what's going to happen. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is a resource management strategy roguelike game as described by the developers. It's quite a unique take on the strategy genre. It is extremely difficult, and a lot of strategy is required. And you can adjust the difficulty as of now, but for the most part, I've been playing the game on patch 0.9, which was the pre-release patch. It is currently on version 1, which is the Steam release version. It's actually ready for tomorrow's release, and that's good because I want to judge the game from a perspective of the buyer, not just someone that is playing an incomplete game. What did they add on the latest update? That would be the custom game menu here, which is really useful if you want to enjoy the game to your pace. However, before we get into all of that, I just want to mention that the game was provided by the publisher, so thanks, publisher. It is developed by Unexpected Studio. It's quite a new studio. This is the second game that they have actually gone through with the development of. The first one was Dwarf, which was a canceled project. And then Look Inside was the officially first title that they managed to release. It's published by Goblinz Studio for the US, apparently, and Maple Whispering for the Japanese market. As far as I can understand, according to the developer team, Goblinz Studio, of course, have brought us Legend of the Keepers, which is a game that I've also covered on this channel, A Long Way Down, and Banners of Ruin, which is a good... These are just some of the titles that the publisher has published. Maple Whispering Limited has published Cloudpunk, which was a game that I requested a key for but never received. And it looked so interesting. Nevertheless, Dreamscaper is a game that is coming out soon that is also published by Maple Whispering, and Edge of Eternity is another game that I was quite looking forward to looking at. But Dreamscaper is also a game that I'd like to look at. So, hey, publisher, if you're looking at this, give me a key. Alright, back to the nitty-gritty here. I want to look at the options menu. First of all, I'd like to address the Ultrawide, as you can see here. I have been playing the game for quite some time now. I haven't noticed any artifacting or any stretching or any issues with the UI as far as it being hidden like a lot of my luck has been lately. So I would like to say that off the bat, officially, Ultrawide seems to be supported as far as this is concerned. Now, I did raise this question with the development team. They've actually been really helpful at answering a lot of my questions on the Discord chat, so props to that, you guys. Thanks a lot for taking the time to answer a lowly YouTube person's questions. Now, they said that the first time the game launches, it's going to run at the native resolution of the monitor, which is what happened with Foregone. If you remember, if you've seen that video, Foregone ran perfectly fine the first time I launched it, but then as soon as I changed the resolution, no matter what I tried, I couldn't get that resolution back. So that was a sad story. I learned my lesson, and I'm in the settings here. The game runs at 120 hertz, first of all. I want to mention that. I have G-Sync enabled. I don't see my frame rate, but moving the mouse around, I can tell 100% that it's at least over 100 frames per second. This is the resolution. The default one is going to be the lowest available. I can guarantee my left nut that this is not 49 hertz, and it's at least 120 hertz, if not 100. Moving all the way down to the resolution selection here, we have 1440p as the maximum. So 16:9 is the only official supported resolution now. VSync is on. I do not believe any of these things. Borderless is probably true, judging by the alt tab behavior of the game. Texture quality high, which is fine. Texture filtering is fine. Shadow quality high is fine. Anti-aliasing, I wouldn't have it enabled, but it's high, it's fine. HDR, my monitor does not support HDR, so I'm afraid to turn this option off because I will be losing my ultra-wide resolution. Now, granted, this is not one of those games that I would consider ultra-wide resolution as being super important, but it's there. I don't want to lose it. And show FPS, this can run on a microwave. If you have issues running this, then you probably need to upgrade a few things on your computer. Audio, this is on 50% by itself. I never actually touched this. I don't remember touching it. Interface, you can change the language. The studio, I believe, is a French studio. Some of the language I found has not been translated, but that was only one sentence, and I don't remember what it was. Tooltips, I wish I could disable this because I mean, I can technically, but I will probably lose my ultra-wide resolution. I played for a few hours, so I kind of have a broad idea of what's happening with the game. Gameplay, this is pretty much stuff that I never touch on these games. But you have the camera controls, and then you have units, movement speed, delay between two actions, and so forth. And then inputs is coming soon, apparently. It's not here yet. So I'm going to exit out of that. I'm not going to save anything. This sometimes does not work. This is to exit from the game, which is funny. Now, as you can see here, this says continue. I was playing a game and effectively my progress was halted because I did not have the required resource to progress through the next objective, but I'm going to explain all of that here. So what is as far as the eye? Well, you control a group of pupils, and there's actually an interesting meaning behind the word pupils there. The developers chose it as a gender-neutral term, even though in French, pupils is a female term. It doesn't really have a gender assigned to it in English. And it doesn't have one in Greek either, which is fine. The campaign effectively works as a tutorial. If you have not played the game, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you play the campaign. Chapter 5 was not available as of the first time I played the game. This was recently added, which is really nice. I have played up to Chapter 4. Now, I do want to stress how difficult the campaign is. You will replay it more than a few times. If difficulty in these types of games is not your forte, then you really are left with just the custom game, not even the new game, because the new game, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to override it. The new game is as such. It's pretty much a, let's say, different type of campaign. You have a few tribes to choose from. You have the West Tribe, the South Tribe, the East Tribe, and the North Tribe. It's pretty cool. You cannot choose any of the other tribes unless you beat the first one. As you can see, you haven't unlocked this tribe yet. I have tried. Man, I have really fucking tried to beat the West Tribe. It's not easy at all. However, I am going to play a custom game first, and then we're going to play a regular game so I can show you how difficult the game is. I first want to explain what the game is, and there's a lot of stuff to consider here, so we're going to go with this. It looks pretty nice and green and everything. Pupils, 3. You don't really want a lot of them, because after 3, you do need to create more space for them, and that's important, and we'll talk about why. These are the rations. It's not the primary food source. The primary food source is just, I believe, food. The pupils will choose to consume the ration before the base food, so keep that in mind. These are the traits. You can have a random positive, a random negative, and a random positive or negative. I want to keep mine at a random positive 6. Just to have a little bit more ease on playing the game. We'll talk about what those traits include while in the game. Food and vagaries, this is your food requirement, and I'm not quite sure. I think this is just the the catastrophes that take place, and the journey is how many hoops you have to jump through before you get to your final level. I'm gonna have 5, and as the seed, I guess we're gonna do that. Here we go. As far as the eye can see, this is the eye. This is your starting point, and these are your journeys. So you start from the big balanced halt is the name, and then you choose your path that you're willing to take. Now, as you can see, if I jump here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 counting this, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bam, into the eye. This is quite interesting because jumping through the next goals requires resources, and it will tell you here it requires 225 spices and then 120 stone. And then this one requires 150 knowledge and 225 wood. And you can kind of plan this out. This is unknown. We don't know what this is going to require. But this one requires game and then fish and then 2 trappers. That's one of the traits. And this one is going to cost you 240 wool and 10 potions. That makes sense because you're going to have all the spices collected from the previous one. I want to collect this one because this one is also, I just need 240 wool, stone gatherer, and just some crystals. So, bam, let's get into it. This is the game. This is the map. So, this is how the game starts. You have your caravan, which has 2 mana power. This is how much movement it can take. So each hexagon is going to be 1 MP. As you can see, hills and other stuff like that cost 2 MP. So each one of your excuse me, pupils is going to have a limited amount of MP. I like to go somewhere in the center most of the time, but for now we're just going to lay them down here. Pressing space or clicking the moon is going to go to the next turn. What you're running away is the flood. Every time you progress to your next goal, the flood resets. Right now we have 189 turns before the flood takes over the halt. It's not a lot of turns, honestly, especially if you're playing on normal difficulty. I'm playing on the easiest difficulty, so that is not a lot of turns at all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to press space, and we're going to go here. And I'm going to click my caravan, and I'm going to settle. Now my 3 pupils have spawned here. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. As you can see, Ultrawide support is perfect. There's nothing hidden in the UI, so I commend the developers for actually making this work, even though it's not officially enabled in the game. I hope they officially enable it in the game in the future, but I can't be too picky. I guess I'm just never going to exit out of Ultrawide. So let's start. The main thing you want to do, first of all, is collect some pipkins. Pipkins are consumed instead of rations, or they can be used by recipes, in recipes by Baker to produce more rations. I could not care less what these guys eat as long as they keep alive. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can collect pipkins. As I can see here, I don't really see any. Okay, here they are. They're hidden in this plane. And then you can actually either just click on where the resource is and select to collect pipkins, or you can right-click your caravan and select the pipkin, which is pretty nice. You can... Let me see. I think I messed up. Yeah. Okay, I did. So once you click your guy and you give him an order, it's going to move on to the next one. It says pupil already doing that. And we're going to select this pupil, and we're going to make him collect some wood because we don't have any. And then our third one is probably going to just do some exploring and reveal the rest of the tiles. Let's do it. Everybody has a command, and we're going to start moving. Now, this is the sacred side. We're getting into the karma fairly quickly. We want to pray, but we don't have any spices, which really sucks. If we plunder, we are going to get 200 fish, but we're going to get a negative trait, and we can offer some of this, but we don't have any of the resources either, so we're going to exit out of that. Now, karma is a balancing act that the game has. The game has a thing, they call it something else, but basically they're just catastrophes. They're random negative effects that happen if you have bad karma, and bad karma is actually a hidden trait. You have to be wary of that. You don't really have a way to kind of keep track of what karma you have, but you do have to constantly be aware of that. So the way bad karma starts is, for example, if you plunder this and get the resources, you're going to have a random catastrophe. Or if you drain all of the resources in a plane, you will gain a negative trait. Now, the problem with that is you have to constantly keep looking at the resources on the plane, which is fine. It's a strategy game. Nobody's rushing you. You can take your time. You can take your sweetest time with this game and just play it normally, slowly. You don't have to worry about rushing because this is, again, a strategy game. Once the resources on the plane, on the hexagon here, I like to call them tiles, but the official name is plane. Once they run out, then you have negative karma. What that will do is there's going to be a negative effect. You'll see by the time we get to the next stage, this event bar here, event feed, it is going to be full of negative effects that are taking place throughout the world. So let's get started. The way you move is you right click and then you hit go to. I wish it was just right click, but I can't be too picky. Let's see, we're going to proceed with our night. Now this is another sacred site. You can explore these, and one negative or a bad thing will happen. So this is the base of the game. There are buildings, but for now we are going to explore the talent tree. This is massive. Now, each of your pupils can have their own role, or they can have multiple roles. So, for example, this is the harvester, a gatherer. A gatherer will gain experience by gathering stuff like wood, pepkins, and so forth. But at some point, as you can see, you reach a halt of progression. That's going to be right here. In order to progress through the system, you have to actually build a building that is attributed to the resource you're trying to collect. So, for example, if you're collecting pepkins, you have to have a harvesting hut. If you're collecting wood, it has to be a sawmill, and so forth. Each resource has its own thing, and the way it works is those pupils will have to... So, for example, the gatherer here, once it reaches maximum, in order to gain more experience, you have to build a gathering hut, and then the pupil has to actually make that the headquarters of collecting the resources, which is really interesting. And then you can progress through and become a fruit gatherer or a wood cutter. Once you choose a path, you cannot choose the other one. So if this pupil becomes a fruit gatherer, they're going to be a fruit gatherer. That cannot go into a woodcutter role. So on top of that, you have the traits. So agile, this pupil takes one less turn to harvest, which is really nice. Abstemious, or whatever you call it, this pupil is ascetic and consumes 50% less rations. Enedian, when they are not doing anything, this pupil does not consume food, which is really important. Because, as I said earlier, if you have more pupils than you can actually house in your caravan, then they're sitting idle. If they don't have this trade, they are going to be consuming rations. It's really important because you cannot do anything with a pupil that doesn't have a place to stay. The game says they're really picky. They want to be cared for, and that's what you're here to do. Self-taught, this pupil gains 20 more experience points per harvest. And sturdy, this pupil has 30 more health points, which is really important. Resurrection, when this pupil dies, another one comes in the tribe with no trade. And new random stats. So no more positive stats. Here's the rest of your pupils. They pretty much have the same ones. This one is fast. Pupil has +1 MP for moving. That's the only different one. Resurrection is the same, and this one is the same as well. Luckily, they all have the resurrection if they all die, which is pretty nice. Gonna exit out of this. That was the talent tree. Now, this pupil is gonna be exploring the sacred side, and this one is gonna be collecting the pepkins, and this one's collecting the wood, which is nice. Alright, I don't have anything to pay the shrine with, so we're just gonna keep exploring to the next turn. The range, the vision is +1, so as you can see, if I go here, it's gonna reveal all this stuff, which is nice. For the exploration, it's important to explore around you and kind of see what is there for you to take, and kind of plan your course from there. Here's another site. This secret site. Let's see if I can do anything with it. And explore it. I don't have any of these resources either. I don't like to plunder because the game already kicks your ass when it comes to catastrophes, which is really nice. These are my goals. I already have a goal, so don't worry about it. One of the goals is to collect 225 wood and then knowledge points, which can be quite tricky to collect those. We're going to continue with the exploration here, and we're going to see what these hexagons have to hide. Hopefully something awesome. Now, the last game I was playing, I ran out of wool, which is what these guys produce here, so I couldn't proceed. And the only way for me to proceed from that would be to build a trading post. But in order to build a trading post, you have to have a tamed animal. There were no tamed animals on my map, so that was quite annoying. Let's explore this. Okay, so we need game. As you can see, the pupils by default will consume 6 rations or 6 pepkins per turn. These guys will consume 3 each. That's a lot of food to have to deal with. I'll be the first one to admit. It is not easy. Not easy at all. We're going to move here so we can see. So, a resource is depleted, wood. That adds to the negative karma again, and that's going to be detrimental to your progress, because if you keep having negative effects take place in the world, all your buildings are going to be destroyed, all your productivity is going to be halved, the health of your pupils is going to run out, and if you run out of resources, your pupils will start losing 10 health per turn. So for example, this guy has how much? 130 health. 13 turns is all this guy can survive with if they don't have any food to eat, which is really adds to the challenge. Now so far it hasn't been very challenging, I'll admit, but let's see. Next we're going to have our next pupil here become the base's builder. So let's look at the building menu. Sawmill. This is the building for a sawmill, for wood rather. Quarry, mine, pasture, and then over here we have harvester hut. This is the one required if you want your pupil to keep gathering levels. I am actually going to build one, but I am going to build it somewhere around here. Now again, the more that your pupil builds, the more the trait is going to be leveled up, so then you can have that pupil be pretty good at building, which is really nice. Let's see, where is our other pupil? So this guy is doing nothing, this guy's gathering, so we're going to have this guy gather food through the harvester hut just to get that experience. Now the nice thing is you can click this and it will select the inactive pupil, which is really nice. I already had that selected. I want him to have, let's see. The rest of the buildings are hunting lodge, fishery, farm, cookhouse. The cookhouse is the one that uses the grain from the farm and wood in order to create rations. Bakery is actually, I'm sorry. Bakery is going to use the farm produce and wood in order to create rations, which is really nice. And the cookhouse is going to do... It pretty much says in the description there, you can make rations from fish and game, and then you can be giving the title of chef, and then that's going to allow you to make more rations because you're going to be able to use more stuff. This building consumes wood as well for the fire, so do you keep that in mind if you're running out of wood. And wood is also required to repair buildings if they're damaged through a catastrophe. Bakery dispensary. This is required to collect spices. And then we have the appendices. So we have camp, workshop, market, and council. The market will allow you to trade resources. That's really important. That's what I needed to build in order to progress on my previous playthrough. When I ran out of the resources. Now, in order to build this, you need a packed animal. This can be a packed animal right here. But for me to pack it, I have to build... Let's see, this guy's collecting. This guy's the builder. In order to build it, I have to build a pasture. Now, you're going to notice there's two options here on the buildings. That's all the buildings actually going to be like that. Some of them are going to be only mobile, so the market is mobile. You can take it with you. I'll get to that when we move on to the next goal. Hopefully I'm not going to die by then. Now this is the pasture, permanent and mobile. So a mobile building you can actually pick up and instantly place into a different hexagon here, like a tile in this map. Or once you leave onto your next goal, you can actually take it with you if you have enough space. We'll get to that on our way to the next goal. So for now, we're going to have to build a permanent pasture, because in order to build a mobile pasture, we need 50 stone and then 40 ore. But to get the ore, we need the mine, and to get the stone, we need the quarry, which, as you can tell, there's an order on how to build these things. Now there's something on that hex there, so if we destroy it, we are going to have bad karma. So we're going to build it here on this plane. It takes up 100 wood. Luckily we have another pupil collect the wood, and we're going to be back to the goal in no time. So this is built, and we're going to have our guy pack this animal. And it's important to have animals packed because they do help with carrying some of the resources onto the next travel, which is really, really nice. Your caravan doesn't have enough space, in my opinion, to cover all of this stuff. Not in my opinion, that's just a fact. So we just encountered a new caravan here. Friendly caravan has arrived. We can send one of our pupils to say hi, and they're gonna have some options for us. So this caravan is looking for help. They offer a trade. They want 50 rations, and they will give us 125 wool. That's nice because we can use the wool to build some things. This one is going to give us one pupil, but it needs 150 ore and 150 pepkins. We don't have any ore. And this caravan is equipped with a weather forecast system. In exchange for 30 rations, they will forecast the next unknown vagary. So that's going to be the next catastrophe that is coming. We're going to take this. So that's going to be right here. It's going to be rodents in turn 66. A vagary is one of those catastrophes that I was talking about. That's the official name that the developers decided to give this element of the game. The more negative stuff you do by eliminating resources from tiles, or the more you violate the sacred sites, the more vagaries are going to take place. And those are important. So this one is going to be rodents. A horde of rodents is rising. They will devour all of the game, leaving only a few to the tribe. So that's what happens when this takes place. It's a lot of thunder outside. Hopefully that can't be translated into the microphone. Now this guy's sitting idle, so we're gonna have him go back and just collect some wool, because actually I am going to build a... Should I build a market in case I run out of resources like last time? I think I'm gonna build a market. now that I have that enabled. So the market can only be placed around your caravan, so it's important when you lay down your caravan, you are next to a plain tile, not one that has resources, so that when you build something on those tiles, those resources get eliminated, and on the same turn you get bad karma. So that is important for you to avoid. Now let's go back and get some of that wool. It's going to be really nice. As far as pepkins, we have plenty on a regular game playthrough. This would not be enough at all. Rations are going to be fine. We're going to survive, but we're going to barely be able to take any more of those onto the next adventure. Now, the packed animal usually helps us with going into the next goal. However, we used it to build a market. Here we go, trade. What can we trade? Let's see, we can get some, we can give some wood. We cannot get knowledge, but we can get some ore. As you can see, there's a trade level, so 40 of wood is worth 1 ore. Or we can do fish, games, cereals, spices, stone. 10 stone is worth 1 ore, which is really nice. We can give up to 100 stone and get 10 ore back. That's not a good trade, so we're just going to keep doing the wool here. This Pupil's already doing that, so we're just going to continue on our progress. Now, as you notice, although I have 2,500 rations, I'm still having one of them collect pepkins. That's because I want them, first of all, to evolve, and then second of all, I am traumatized by how many times I've ran out of resources. So that's going to be the end all be all here. 60 knowledge points. We're getting really close to the requirement of 150, which is nice. That's what happens when they collect resources. They get more experience. So this guy leveled up here. You saw the star. We're going to go on to the wheelbase here, the skill tree. So Honey is going to be our best builder right here. This is the trait 2 MP when going to construct a building. So then that means you can move further when you're going to construct a building. It's pretty nice. And then this pupil repairs twice as fast, 20 HP per turn instead of 10 HP per turn. I'm not quite sure whether or not it uses the same resources though, so that's a good thing to note when I'm playing the game. And he's also a grower, which means that there's going to be +5 wool or cereals per harvest cycle. Every little bit counts. I am going to be the first one to admit. Marlene, even though it has a blue, a pink one, then I have a gender, of course. So that's how you collect. What I'm not a fan of is the fact that the knowledge points are hidden. So the way you access the knowledge points is in your caravan. You can actually open knowledge tree. I cannot see the knowledge points anywhere. I have to guess. Occasionally, you will have to keep checking this. This is a really nice one to pick, by the way. It gives you some more storage when you leave, and you can have more things. Let's see what this one does. Pupils begin each hold by with 200 rations. It's pretty nice. Okay, we're just gonna keep harvesting here. We're almost at 150 for the knowledge points. Here we go. We are ready to go. There's not really a point to stay back here and keep gathering. The only reason why you would want to do that, however, which is a really smart idea, is to level up your pupils so that you can proceed on to the next one with a lot more knowledge. Now, this one, this guy here, it's already at the maximum for consumption. So once I build this, so here's our builder, took this back there, which is really nice. I am going to build a harvester hut. I cannot build the mobile one, but it's fine because I don't really care. That's something that I can just quickly rebuild again. It's not a big deal. We're going to build it there. So this, the fact that this is not a mobile one means that it's going to stay there. I cannot move it onto a next tile. But we're going to select the pupil that is collecting the harvesting food. No matter how much food it harvests, it's not going to gain any levels. So then what we have to do is tell it to harvest the food and take it into the harvesting hut, and that is going to unlock the possibilities that it has so that it can proceed into making more stuff as far as gaining experience is concerned. Now, it's important that you do this, but do keep in mind that the game is still progressing. So as far as the flood, my caravan has 128 days until the water reaches my caravan. There's not really a penalty for waiting this long, but the longer you wait, the more tiles you consume and the more catastrophes will take place. That means the potential of damaging your pupils and going into the next adventure with a lot less health. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight into my next goal, and here is the storage option. So again, if we hadn't used one of the where's the caravan? I mean, where's the market? That's weird. So the marketplace does that. I think maybe it automatically comes. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Caravan when you go to the next halt. Okay. We're not going to worry about it right now. We're going to go on to the next adventure. So the way the gathering of the resources works is you can either right click and it will automatically put them onto that tile, or you can click yourself and then you can put it there. So there's obviously a limited amount of resources you can take with you on the next run, and getting the wood here, so that's going to be interesting because I can take the wool. You cannot rotate this, by the way. Stone is 4 boxes and they're all horizontal. Wood is vertical. I believe this is also 3 or 4 that is horizontal. Perkins are also Pepkins. Sorry, it's not Perkins. And Perkins from Parks and Recreation. These guys are also 3 long, and you're gonna have to pretty much figure out how to put everything in order. Now, if I had more wood, I could replace the wool with wood, but I think wool is a little bit more important. I'm actually also contemplating on not taking any wood with me and actually just taking all the wool. There we go. Oh, okay, yeah. So no matter how much of, if this was 1 wool, it would still be 4 of them here taking up the space. So I don't think it's worth it. We're just going to take the wood and call it a day. So we're going to leave. Yes, I'm sure I want to leave now. And we are on to the next level. Here we go. This is my caravan. As you can see here, it is carrying my pupils. I'm going to zoom in here, which is really nice. The game looks nice. The game looks pretty. You can zoom in and out, of course. We are going to go there. So we can actually... no, it's not going to work out. We're going to go there. So there's resources there. We're probably going to go back here and have our pupils explore, and we're going to settle. Now, I do not see my caravan, my market. Here's the market. I don't want to place it here because this is food. I don't want to place it either here because this is spices and food. And we're going to open up the map. The way this works now is we choose the next goal, and the next goal is going to be this. We don't have another choice. Had we gone to this one, we would have a choice between this one and this one, but we're not going to worry about it. We're going to choose this. We don't have another choice. We're going to go back in here, and we're going to select our pupils. So this one is going to be the best builder, the best gatherer, and this is the best gatherer. It's just a gatherer. The best gatherer is going to have a star next to it. This is just a level 2. Alright, builder. We are going to build a harvesting hut. We're going to place it right here. Oh, shit. There are stuff here. Hill. You can't build on hills, of course. Let's just explore. We're just going to explore a little bit. We have plenty of rations. Why not? We're going to send them all on their way to explore. Away from the caravan. Here's an animal we can pack. It's absolutely necessary that you do consider that option. We're going to select our builder, and we're going to build our harvesting hut right here on an empty plain. This guy's going to move here. This is another of the gatherers. I'm gonna send this one right here. And we're just gonna keep exploring. That's the name of the game. Exploration. I want you to explore that last bit right there. So this is another plane tile. That's pretty awesome. We can do that. Why is my guy not building shit? Hey, builder. I said build a harvesting hut. Oh, he's a builder. Okay. Alright, well. Shucks. Alright, so this one is the best harvester. He's going to be collecting some of that. I want you to build a pasture again. And then you are, my friend, are going to start collecting some wood because we only have 30. I'm hoping that you can kind of grasp the way that the game kind of works here. I'm going to pack this animal because I do like the extra health. Influencer nature. Aware of the presence of pupils in its environment, nature protects its resources, and protective auras increase their areas of influence. Here we go. A new vagary will happen soon. Influential nature and squale. Don't know what that is. A building has been destroyed. Harvester hut. I think it's fine. Okay. Squall. The wind suddenly rises and violently sweeps away the drapes of mobile buildings. All mobile buildings lose 50 HP. Luckily, these are all permanent buildings, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. Alright, let's see what should I collect next. So we need wool, of course. So we're going to start collecting some wool, and then we need some ore. So we need 2 stone gatherers to be experts. I'm going to have you build a quarry, but I need 100 wood. So we're going to have to wait on that one. For now, we're just going to be idling, just kind of keeping the turns going, which is really nice. Let's see how many knowledge points we have here. Awesome. It increases the amount of resources and resource stacks by 20. Okay. So I can select that 5 times, which is really interesting. Okay, so now we can deploy it on a hill, which is really nice. So I'm gonna select that. And there are catastrophes that will take away pretty much half of your knowledge points. So saving up for something big can be quite risky, because you may not even get to that ever. Alright, let's meet these guys and see what they want. This caravan's go to the weather forecast system in exchange for 30. That can give you the next vagary. This guy seeks trade. It gives me 300 knowledge points for 50 rations. I'm almost tempted to do that, but as you can see, we started with 3,000 rations and we're down to 1,000. And then if we had some spices, we could recruit a 4th person. I don't think we need that. We're just going to do this for now. And this guy can go back onto collecting rations. You will get a notification on your feed here when a skill point is available and required to be taken, which is fairly nice. And we have 190 wool. We're going to be spending a lot of wool building stuff. Tropical mosquitoes. Cause the mosquitoes appear in jungles in the area. They are a curious disease. Any pupil that crosses a jungle in the next 10 rounds will fall ill. Falling ill, ladies and gentlemen, almost takes away half your health, if not more. Luckily, there's no jungles here that I can see. There's a bog. Nope, that's a jungle. And this guy's ill. Fuck. Well, here we go. This is what I was talking about with the catastrophes. Now there's going to be termites. Coming from a jungle, termites are... All buildings adjacent to a jungle lose 70 HP. That is redonkulous. I'm going to have you just go here so you can be away from a jungle. This guy's going to die. Fuck. It's going to be sick for 4 turns. 50 points. Okay, yeah, that one is damaged, so we're gonna have to start repairing these, which is really annoying. Let's see, repair. Oh, it uses even less. Oh, no, 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 no. You're gonna stay here, my friend. Let's see. Okay, yep, here is the trade wheel. this is the gatherer that I was talking about. This is the best fruit gatherer of the tribe, and they are ready for an upgrade. You can either choose to have 25 knowledge points collected per harvest cycle, or you can have an extra 15 rations. I always select this one because of my trauma with running out of resources all the time. Each pupil who works in harvesting, production, or construction becomes sick. So now I have to tell these guys to not do anything and kind of go here. Or I can just have them go here. So, oh no, this guy is still going to stay there. Obviously, there's a plane, no resources. And this one is going to stay here. So this guy's going to be sick for 5 turns. This one is going to be sick for 1 more turn, which is very unfortunate. And now he died. But because of the positive trait of dying... Oh. Okay. Alright. Well, here's the downside, though. Doesn't have any skills. So it looks like if you have the 6 positive traits as a generated benefit, even the resurrected one is going to have 5 positive traits, which is really nice. That's pretty cool. Alright, you're going to just go back to work and collecting wood. You're going to be... I like for these guys to be there so they don't die. And here we go. This is a new pupil has joined your tribe. There we go. Vagary, overwork, resource depleted, source depleted, vagary, new caravan. These are just the older ones. So that is pretty much the way the game plays. Now I want to go back to the main menu. It automatically saves your progress, so if I hit continue, I'm just going to go back here, which is really nice. This is my new one. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go back to the main menu. We're going to take a look at the campaign, and I want to play Chapter 5. Why not? I haven't played Chapter 5 yet, or at least I haven't beat it. So this is really important to read. It kind of gives the backstory and everything. We're going to be trying to see here. Let's explore. The campaign likes to not tell you what to do once you explored everything, which is really nice. Not really. Let's see. It tells you to analyze the remains. We already done that. We already know. Enter and analyze over. Takes a little bit of a while to analyze them, I suppose. Here we go. Now continue to search and tribe peril. Okay. I'm just going to keep going. Why is it not letting me do it? Okay. There we go. Just gonna keep going. There's my tribe. There they are. These are important to read. These are more objectives. There's an optional objective here. You can heal one of them so they don't die. You have 20 rounds, I suppose, and then they have 100. Wow, sick for 20 rounds. They're definitely gonna die because they only have 120 health. So, objective: concoct a potion, 20 pepkins. Jeez, 20 spices. Objective: optional. Assign Pip to take a potion in the caravan or dispensary, so they don't die. I suppose Pip is the sick one. Yep. And no goal selected. Now, while in the campaign, not only do you have even more goals to keep you down and keep you busy and all that stuff, you still have to select goals and move on to the next objective so you can reach the eye. The problem is sometimes, well, problem, I mean, some people are masochists and they like this. They call it a feature. I call it a pain in the ass. Those things will last for many turns and they will keep you down, so do expect a fair amount of challenge on the campaigns. I don't want to play anymore in case people care about spoilers. So I'm just going to wrap it up here. Now, when I first started playing the game, I was very taken away, I suppose, by the looks and there's no voice acting, but the ambient noises and the music and everything, it's all very beautiful, very nice to listen to. But then I was just distraught by how difficult the game is. I'm like, playing the campaign, and it has elements of trying to teach you how to play the game. So the way that a player perceives it, and the way that many more people perceive the campaign, even on the Discord, so that's not just me, but even people on the Discord are saying that the tutorial is difficult, and people die on the tutorial, which doesn't really happen. And then you have the developer saying, no, the campaign is not a tutorial, it's an actual campaign, it's difficult, it's supposed to be difficult. Now, the custom game mode was added actually as of today, basically, just for the release. It was pretty much feedback that they got from everybody that the game was too difficult, so that's why they added this. I don't know if they had plans to add this in the first place, but the way that the developer made it sound was that they added this because the feedback was that the game was too difficult. I would like to see a difficulty setting for the campaign, so I can play the campaign and learn how to play the game, but not struggle with it. I would also like to see a difficulty onto the new game, so I can unlock the rest of the tribes. I'm also hoping that there's this much customization on the difficulty as well, like a custom difficulty, not just easy, medium, or hard. There should be easy, medium, hard, or arguably easy, hard, and then just a custom difficulty as well, in order to tailor the experience to whatever the player thinks is going to be best for them. I'll admit that it was a lot more immersive. There were a lot more stakes when it was difficult and I was trying to beat the game and I wasn't able to, and I was somewhat frustrated, and I was going to knock a lot of points from the game for that, but I understand that that's what the developers were going for, and I want to respect the artistic and design choices that the developer made. Those were their choices. This is their game. They made it the way they envisioned and the way they desired to do so. But I would believe that it's going to be a little bit more crucial to attract a more wider audience to the game so they can buy it, which the game is going to retail for $24.99 or your regional equivalent. There are set prices. I believe it's €20.99 and a little bit more in pounds. I'm not exactly sure on that one. The problem with making the game too hard is that there's a disconnect between desire to play the game and immersion. Sure, it's immersive, but I don't really feel the desire to go back and retry campaign chapter 4 for the 7th time just to die from something new that I didn't have to worry about in the previous one. It took me 4 tries to figure out how to keep the rations at an acceptable level, and then I died from something else, and then I spent like 3 more tries trying to find how to defeat that purpose on the something else. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's just impossible. So if there was a difficulty option for the campaign as well and the new game chapters, that would be incredible. That would solve all the complaints I have with the game. Now, as far as depth is concerned, there's not an incredible amount of depth. There is a respectable amount, but I wouldn't say an overwhelming one. The skill tree is a nice addition, and the fact that halfway through you have to build a special building tailored to that skill tree path and choose to commit to a skill branch, I think that's an excellent choice. No quarrel with that. It's actually pretty incredible. So, overall, it's a game that's going to keep you busy for a while. As far as the price, I personally would probably set it to $20 instead of $25. But what's another $5? It's just a Starbucks coffee, even though I don't drink Starbucks. I make my own coffee like a normal person. No disrespect to people that buy Starbucks and ready coffee. It's just disgusting. So there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. As far as the Eye or a Fate, your quest is to bring your pupils onto the Eye, which is the safe haven, while you're running away from a big wave and trying to outrun the wave. One thing I forgot to mention, I wanted to mention this at the beginning, this gives me really big, faster than the speed of light, FTL. Is it faster than light? I can't, it's FTL. To me, it's always been FTL. I played the fuck ton of FTL. This really reminds me of FTL with the same concept. You're trying to outrun something. You go into one stage, you explore, you build, you gather resources, you move on to the next one, and on the way, you level up, you gain more equipment, you gain more traits, you become a little bit better at what you're doing. In FTL, you got better weapons, and you got the crew that had high enough skill level to operate each machine, like the weapons and all that stuff. In this game, you level up your pupils to get the skill level to be better at gathering the resources that could potentially help you on your next adventure. So, if you like FTL, give this a shot. Don't expect to love this as much as you loved FTL, because you're not going to get FTL. You're going to get the same concept. If the concept of FTL intrigues you, definitely give this one a try. Otherwise, if you liked what you saw, give it a try. This was just raw gameplay, not a 7.5 minute review showing the trailer and just talking over it. So, hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope to see you on the next one. Peace.